Hello, Level 2 students. Here is a recording of pages 19 and 20, and I am going to let the computer read to you the text, okay? So let's begin.
The science of catching criminals. In courts of law, the tiniest piece of evidence can bring a criminal to justice. Something as small as a fiber can connect a thief to a burglary. The science used to show a person's guilt or innocence is called forensics. A forensic team is made up of different people. Some work at the crime scene itself. Others work in labs to study the evidence. All of them have the same goal: to use evidence to catch and convict a criminal. At the crime scene, anyone who commits a crime leaves evidence behind. He or she may try to clean up, but usually some trace remains. It could be a fingerprint or a shoe print. It might be a bit of blood or skin. It may be a hair or thread. For this reason, a forensic investigation starts at the crime scene. First, police investigators preserve the scene. They seal it off to make sure nobody changes it. Then, they gather evidence. Because evidence can be very small, the investigators must be very careful. They use special tools to scan every inch. They place tiny samples in clean containers. Even dust, pollen, or seeds can help break a case. The examiners try not to overlook anything.
Okay, this is the first page, page 19, and please try to answer this question orally. You don't have to submit it to me, but after reading this text, can you answer this question? How can trace evidence lead to conviction of a criminal? Okay, we're going to next page, page 20.
Back at the lab. Once collected, the evidence is sent to a special lab. There, forensic scientists study it closely. They put it under microscopes. They run tests on it. They learn what it is made of and where it came from. If a piece of evidence is from a human body, the scientists can identify its DNA. All living things have DNA. It is in every cell of a person's body. It tells the cells how to grow. When blood, skin, or hair is left at a crime scene, the person's DNA is left there too. Each person's DNA is unique, just like a fingerprint. If the DNA in a piece of evidence matches the DNA in a blood sample from a suspect, it can be evidence of guilt. If it doesn't, it can be evidence of innocence. The power of forensic science. Whether it's a speck of fuzz or human blood, forensic evidence can make or break a case. Here are a couple of examples. In 1982, orange fibers were found on the body of a murder victim in Ohio. Forensic scientists concluded that they were carpet fibers from a van. Later, a woman was kidnapped by a man named Robert Anthony Buell, but she escaped and reported him to the police. Investigators learned that Buell had a van with orange carpeting. They took samples of the fibers for analysis. The fibers from the van carpet matched the fibers on the victim. Buell was proven guilty. In another famous case, 4 men were convicted of a murder in Illinois. This crime happened before DNA testing could be done. The ruling was based on the report of a witness who said she had seen the crime. The men were sentenced to a very long time in prison. 2 were put on death row. Later, the witness confessed that her report had been a lie. By this time, DNA testing had been developed. It was used to show that the Ford Heights 4 were innocent and that another man was guilty. Thanks to forensic science, justice was served.
Okay, can you answer this 3 questions that are here on the left? Where can DNA be found? 3. What trace evidence was used to convict Buell? And 4. The Ford Heights 4 spent many years in prison and thought they were going to be killed. How would you feel if you were wrongly convicted of a terrible crime? This concludes our lesson for this week. Bye.